Hey, good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to my Sunday live stream where we just talk about photography and what's new and what's been going on and just kind of hang out in this little community. I'm so proud of this community. Everyone is so nice and I really appreciate you spending some time with me today. It's really the highlight of my day. I always look forward to the streams and chatting with everyone. Let me go ahead and fix the chat window real quick and then let's see who came in today. Oh, there we go. Awesome. So I see we have Scott Munford. Good morning. Casper's here. Patrick Whitehead. David Tellett. Good to see you. Thanks again for the Pen F. David Tellett gave me a Pen FT. It's a film camera. I kind of wrapped it up in plastic until I could get a lens for it, but it's it's a half frame SLR, the original Pen F from Olympus. So I'm really excited about to go out and shoot with that. I found a lens. I was going to ask you, David. I found a 38 millimeter f1.8 for it. Shipping and everything all in for like 105 bucks. I don't know if that sounds like a good deal or not. It seemed like it. I mean, it was one of the cheapest deals on eBay. But let me know what you think of that. Thomas, hi. Wu-Dang, good morning. And see, John Yutze is here. Awesome. Jonas, good to see you. Rick Bear, oh my goodness. How are you, Rick? Good to see you again. I hope you and Magrat are doing well. Oh, microphone. Always something, right? I always forget something. Hopefully you guys could hear me. Yeah, 10:03, impressive, right? Oh my God, I'm sorry. I always start a few minutes late, but that's wouldn't be a robtrek stream if something didn't go wrong. Start late, microphone, my mom calls, I don't know, all kinds of things, right? But it's real life, right? It's not like some whole full-on production, where they, I've seen some amazing live streams and I watched, I used to watch live streams before I kind of started my own. And, someone asked me yesterday, I went on a photo walk with David Crooks and David Tellett over at the U.S. National Arboretum. So if you check my Instagram out, there's a link over here. You can see some of the pictures I got from yesterday. I think they came out all right. And let's see, still hollow sound, huh? I'm not sure. I'm not doing anything different today. Yeah, this is the right mic. I can turn it down a little bit. Maybe that'll help. Let me check my filters. I don't know. Everything's the same. But anyhow, you remind me of me. And Randy says, I went out and took 100 shows of the wind turbine. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw on, I think it was your Instagram, I saw one of your windmill shots. It was really amazing. Or no, I think you emailed it to me. But that's looking good, Randy. I'm curious to see when you finally get it the way you want, what the final result's going to be like. Because you wanted to do some sort of composite with maybe a daisy or a flower of some kind, right? No, sorry for the spoilers. Okay, good morning, Thomas. How are you? And Nature, good to see you. And Arthur, oh my goodness, good to see you, Arthur, as always. Okay, good. Thank you, David. So about 105, because they range between like 100 and 150. And I'm like, when you get closer to 150, you can almost buy the camera with the lens for about 180, 190, So I didn't want to spend much more than $100 for the lens, because then I'm thinking I'll just get another whole camera with the lens, right? Use one for parts and use the other one as my daily driver, right? But yeah, I'm excited. I'll order that and see if it comes in this week, and maybe before the next photo walk I'll have it ready to go. David, hi. Oh, I'm glad you're here, David. Yeah, I was just talking about the photo walk yesterday a little bit. um, where we went to the U.S. National Arboretum. They came out nice. I was, when I'm taking the shots, I got all flustered because before the photo walk, my mom calls with another emergency, and uh, nothing health related, but just life, right? And it just flustered me before I even got started on the walk. So I just couldn't, I don't know, I couldn't concentrate for the first half hour or so of the walk because I was just, my gears were running, split between what my mom was talking about and what I wanted to do that day. Uh, Let me see. Cliff Fit, how are you? Wow, that's a new name. And Click Flash, how are you? It's another new name. So it looks like some new people here. I'll just show you just a couple shots so you don't have to go over to Flickr right away. Yeah, so here's one of the other photographers that went with us. And I just saw this winding kind of sidewalk. So I figured, this might make an okay shot, right? Can't go wrong with S curves in a photo. Got a little soft over here, but I was using my 35 millimeter CCTV lens, which is it's like a $35 lens, but it really gets very soft and a little bit swirly and weird bokeh in the corners because the lens was designed for a much smaller sensor, like a cell phone size sensor. So the sharpness is really only in the center, and then it gets soft really quickly after that, and vignettes and all that good stuff. And this was a pretty good shot. I was trying to do a starburst, and this is my fisheye lens at f/14, I believe, on my EM5 Mark III. And then I did a little split toning on it. And this picture, this is kind of interesting because I'm using the fisheye lens, right? The 8mm f1.8 Olympus. And when I took this shot, I thought, wow, this looks like an eye, right? So I'm taking a picture of an eye, somebody's eye, with a fisheye lens. So I just kind of like that what's the word I'm looking for? It's the opposite of irony, right? It's not ironic. It's like, my vocabulary is terrible. I got to look up the opposite of irony. But only one person mentioned it there, Nature with Music. I don't know if you're here or not, but you said, nice shot. Looks like a huge eye with curves from the fisheye lens. So, and you can actually read some of the script down here about how they built this thing. These columns were brought in, I think, from one of the ends of the Capitol here in the DC, and they put them up in the park here. And this is just some trees and another shot of these columns. This shot was a little tricky because I almost fell in the water taking this shot, because there's a big pond in front of it. And then there's this little bowl right in front of the columns. So I kind of stood on the bowl and, I was just, maybe an inch away from falling into like only a foot deep of water, but still, right? Who wants to get wet in the winter? And then this is a cool shot. I did a in-camera double exposure. So I took two pictures and then I blended them using the image overlay feature in our Olympus cameras. So I took a picture of the sky above, and then I came back down and took a picture of the columns, and and then just added a little contrast and color. And I think it came out pretty neat. Not bad, I thought. So yesterday was a fun day. Also, one of my viewers was there, all the way from Florida. Marcia was there. I don't know if she's here. I didn't see her name come up yet, but Marcia, she's she comes in the live streams time to time, but she came up from Florida and joined the photo walk with us in the photography club. And I always invite everyone, if you're in the area, look up the Virginia Beltway. Oh, where's my hat? It's in the car. But the 495 Virginia Beltway Photography Club by just David Crooks. And if you look up David Crooks on the site, on meetup.com, you'll find the photo club probably pretty easily. And there's a link to it in my forum too, under, social media links and things. But, come on out and join us. It was great to meet Marcia and of course hang out with everyone else in the photo club. Oh, thank you, Randy. You like the black and whites? Hi, Marcel. How are you? Oh, nature. Yeah, I was just mentioning how you're the only one that noticed. Excuse me. Maybe some other people noticed, but you're the only one to mention that the fisheye lens took a picture of an eye. What made it look like an eye when it's really just a pond. And yeah, I gotta love Mom. I do love my mom. I should tell her that more often. Rob's magic lenses almost look Grecian. Yes. Thank you, Roman. And oh my goodness, Marcia, you're here. How are you, Marcia? Yeah, Marcia's she's normally in Florida, and it's really nice down there. You caught us on a great day yesterday here in DC. As you know, November can be really cold here in the DC area. But it was a nice day, so not too bad if you got used to Florida weather. And let's see. And David did bring his. We were talking about it the other day, I guess, the Manfrotto Pro, the 055X Pro B tripod. For me. It gave me a good deal on that. So I made out good yesterday. I got a new tripod and a new camera. And then, yeah, if you can find, I found out they call that thing, the thing that's missing is the platform for the center column. If you find that, that would be great. But I did find on eBay another center column, a used one for about like 80 bucks. But it's a leveling. It has a leveling thing on the top too, which is actually more useful for me. And the normal price is like 150 brand new, so I think I got a good deal at 80 bucks for a used like new center column. It's supposed to fit all the 055 series tripods, so we'll see when it comes in. Jeff Painter, hello. And Randy, you're gonna pay off your car instead of buying a 150 to 400. Good idea. And that lens, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be some niche people that buy that. I guess we were talking about it yesterday in the photo club that there was only 2 in Europe. Like in all of Europe, there was like 2 of them there. And who was it? I guess Jimmy Chang's live stream, he was saying that since he's more of a wedding portrait photographer, they didn't offer it to him to test out, which is a shame. I mean, he's a competent photographer, and I'm sure he has, great wildlife sports action shots too. And he would have done a really fantastic job. Because if you think about it, there's probably lots of, not lots, but there's several Olympus visionaries that would, that could potentially have access to that lens. And it seems like, the ones that have a good following, a loyal following, they don't have the biggest channels, right? They're all like 20, 30,000, whatever. But, how many followers you have, not followers, not subscribers. Based on your subscriber count, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. If you have a very loyal subscribers, that's much better than having like 1 million plus subscribers that you never see, right? And Jimmy Chang, definitely, Robin Wong, Peter Forsgaard, very strong, right? Followers, very loyal, and I think they all should have gotten a lens. I didn't watch Robin's take on it yet, because he did have a video, or Peter's. I actually I haven't watched any videos on that lens, come to think of it. Other than the short, the mention by Tony Northrup where he was comparing it, because it's not a lens I'm considering buying. So a lot of videos that talk about gear from, my favorite channels, if I'm not interested in that gear, I don't really watch those particular videos. I do enjoy more of the photocentric type videos where they talk about photography and different kinds of photographies, photo walks. Like Manny Salanto did an awesome video where he did a photo walk with the 25mm f1.7, and that's more in line with what I enjoy watching. Like Thomas Heaton, I enjoy watching. James Popsis, I enjoy. Just when they go out on their photo walks and things. And so the gear videos I don't catch too much unless I'm interested in purchasing it myself, because 99% of the time I look at it, I know what it is. It's a lens, right? And it's an Olympus, so I know it's going to be sharp. But if it's not the focal length or aperture, or it doesn't have, if it's not one I'm looking for, I'm not going to watch it. Like if they come out with a video with the 8 to 25mm that Olympus has on their roadmap, I will definitely watch every video. But not. I did watch everyone's video on the 12 to 45 because I was semi interested in that. So I did watch them all. But anyhow, let me scroll down a little bit. Marcia's here. Oh my goodness, where am I? 10:40. Oh, I'm 5 minutes behind here. Mike Ham. Hi, Mike. How are you? Says, question on firmware upgrade. I did the M1 Mark III and all my settings were saved, but it looks like there's no way to save settings on the M5 III. Yeah. I don't think there is. I mean, I haven't needed to update my firmware on it yet, because when I sent it in for warranty repair, they did it for me. So I can't say firsthand whether that's true or not. So if Olympus, there's two ways to update your firmware though. You can save it with Olympus Workspace on your computer, and then you might be able to do it with your app as well. So maybe one will save the settings and the other may not. Sorry, I don't have a good answer. But it seems odd to me it wouldn't save it, but I'm not surprised, because they did strip away some of the features of the EM5 Mark III that they should have kept. Like they should have put more custom modes on the mode dial, or let us program the mode dial to be different custom modes. Little things like that. So it doesn't surprise me if they left that out. Okay. Walter. Oh my goodness. How are you, Walter? And you're flipping between live sessions and editing Rob's picture for the next live stream. Yes. I did put out a column. One of the pictures I took on the photo walk yesterday, I put out as, for you guys to edit for the editing live stream. And for those that don't know, I do photo editing live after this stream, where I give you my picture to edit, and we look at all of those, which is a lot of fun. And then you can submit your pictures, and I edit those in Workspace or Lightroom, whatever works on the image. And then Wudang, you sent in a test shot, linear raw from the BMPC6K. So if you're interested in seeing dynamic range, so on stay for the next stream, it's not usual photo cam. Yeah, I've only seen a couple of pictures of the BMPCC, like thumbnails on YouTube for it, but I I didn't watch the videos because, again, it's not a camera I'm interested in. It's a little bit too bulky, right? Even the BMPC 4K was a little bulky for me, and it had poor battery life, and there's a lot of reasons I wasn't that interested in the camera. But I think the 6K camera uses a Canon mount on top of that, which I really didn't want to start buying a bunch of new lenses too. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, if you have the platform, because a leveling head is different than a platform, right? Platform is generally more solid. That would be nice. And Thomas Zazaska says, I bought the Fuji on CCT lens after watching a video a couple of years back. During spring, summer, I put it in my bag to take close-up of flowers and woods. Love the wacky swirly bokeh. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you get the 25 or the 35? I prefer the 35. It's a little bit less swirly. And, and it's tighter, right? It's a tighter shot. But the 25 is, is really good too. But the swirly bokeh effect is pretty strong on that one. A little too strong for my taste. And Nature says, since I have no interest in a nice car, I'll spend the money on the lens instead. Okay. I don't know what I want to do. I want a new car. I just got that itch. I mean, I've had my car for not even 4 years yet. But I bought that car. It's a Mazda 6. I bought that car when my uncle was still alive because I needed a big trunk to carry his wheelchairs and stuff. Because I took care of my uncle for like 10 years. And I wanted a 4-door just because sometimes I need to, I bought that and I already have a 4x4. I have a Jeep, right? So I didn't want to buy another 4x4. So I bought a car. But I traded in I missed that Beetle. I used to have a VW Beetle Fender edition, which had like wood grain inside. It was beautiful, beautiful car. And yeah, so I always, I told myself many years ago, I'm not going to buy anything unless it's fun. I just keep, I just want something. If it's fun in my life, then I'm going to buy it. If it adds any joy to my life. And but the Mazda was a very pragmatic purchase, the Mazda 6. And now that he's passed, I'm thinking about maybe trading in my Jeep and my Mazda and getting the RAV4 hybrid. It'll get better gas mileage than both my cars, and it solves my 4x4 problem. And being a hybrid, I can run the heat or AC without running the engine necessarily. So if I go camping and stuff, that'll be a nice little... We'll see. I have to make some more money because, God, this month I haven't had a single photo job. It just dried up. I don't understand. Because I was rocking it. I killed 2 terabytes of hard drive space with photo jobs the last couple months. Now just crickets, nothing. I mean, one agent I kind of understand. I mean, she found a better photographer who's cheaper. So, and I told her, yeah, he's good and he's cheaper than me. You should use him. She's gonna do it anyway. But by me saying it, dang, there's a mosquito. Hold on. The weather gets nice for one day, then the mosquitoes come back. I have to kill it with this. That's my check. I'm going to use that. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Landed right on the camera. Got you, bastard. All right. You know, I put my bug zapper away. So I didn't think there'd be any more bugs. I keep a little bug zapper in my kitchen right by the back door because I leave the back door open so my dog can go in and out. And one nice day and the mosquitoes come back. Oh, you're gonna do some birding, Randy, with the new firmware? That's cool. I did see the video about the firmware update, and I forget who said it. It was either Robin or Peter, because I watched them both. That it actually focuses on the eyes or the head of the bird instead of the body. So if the bird's not facing you directly, it's smart enough to focus where the front of the bird is or the eye. So I'm curious. And Olympus did a live session on Facebook a few days ago with 2 Olympus advocates talking and showing images taken with the 150 to 400 still available to view online. Okay, I mean, I think the 100 to 400 is a better choice, you know, because it's a fraction of the price. It's $6,000 less money. You could buy a 100 to 400 and a few pro lenses, you know, on top of that. Like the 300 f4 Pro, the 40 to 150 Pro, and throw in a 17 1.2, right? And get the 100 to 400. I mean, I think you can get all of those for the price of 150 to 400. Mike Ham, how are you? I really don't want to go through and set up my camera again after a firmware update. That stinks, yeah. And Arthur says, there's a photographer who goes on photo walks and uses film cameras testing different film types, and I'm hooked. Absolutely beautiful photography in simple format. Jess Hobbs, brilliant. Oh, okay. I gotta check him out. Because I always tell people, you know, you need to, you know, once you're pretty competent with your digital camera, you should shoot film if you've never done it before, or if it's been a long time. So here we go, Jess Hobbs. I'll definitely check him out. Oh, Polaroids. Yeah, I gotta watch that. I dig Polaroids. He's shooting Polaroid on an RB67. Wow. Okay. Good call. Definitely check that out. And Udang says, I was not so happy with my edit, but I still sent it in. Okay. I mean, you know, that when I didn't edit that picture myself, actually, because I wasn't crazy about the composition. If you're talking about the one I gave out. Yes, hi Dave, how are you? Everyone is here. And thank you, Mike, so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It helps me so much. You know, the super chats, the buy me a coffee, you know, the PayPal donations, especially now, because there's just no jobs. I can't believe it. Shocking. And Rick Bear says, set up after firmware update. I used to think having to go through all the menus to restore previous settings was dumb, but it actually gives me a chance to review and refreshes my memory of choices. Yes, I did save my real estate settings onto the computer, but I rarely change them. But it's on my M1 Mark III, so the software saves all my settings anyway. But I did save them again. anytime I make changes to my workflow. But that's the M1 Mark III. The M5, just don't think it's doable. Thanks, Rob. Tell Olympus to save settings. I know, right? And let us reprogram the custom mode dial in the next firmware update. Please, Olympus. On the M5, because I took the M5 Mark III out yesterday on a photo walk, and I saved all my settings to the 1C mode on the mode dial. It has 2 more you can save, but you have to go in the menu to do that, which is awkward. But I kind of miss being able to switch different modes, you know, between, because I have different settings for black and white and different settings for color. And I'd like to be able to switch quickly between the two. Dave Nelson says, life is short. You might as well enjoy it, but what hits the fun button? Buy what hits the fun button. I know, right? I mean, a Miata would be awesome, but I just... and the only purpose of a car for me is to get from A to B. My 2005 Astra Diesel Estate is reliable and does all I need. Yeah. Yeah, I just enjoyed, you know, I really enjoyed my Jeep. It's a V8, and just taking that out on a long trip, you know, winding road in the mountains or something, that's that's living life, you know, for me. Like just having that smooth V8 under the hood. You know, the Mazda is a little four-banger, and it's designed for fuel efficiency as much as you can with a big sedan, right? But and it's a fine car. I just want something a little more fun. I mean, it's like four-door sedan is like the most boring car you can buy. Film the bug kill. Oh my God, I'm so behind. Mosquitoes and cockroaches. You can't kill them all. I know. Mice, rats, bats. I had a mouse problem here briefly. So I bought some mouse poison, and I haven't seen a mouse since. And you think that's great, but then they haven't touched the food either. You know, the poison. The poison hasn't been touched, but I haven't seen another mouse since I got that poison. So they must have figured out I'm out to get them and left. As soon as they saw the rat poison, they're like, oh, we're going to go. Because he's going to know the rat poison's not working if we stay here. And he's going to go to more drastic measures, right? So they left. And bats, I didn't have any bats this year. I had a few very early on, but I got rid of them. What I did is I put a very bright light in the attic. They didn't like it, so they left. And then Seraphin says, being in the repairs part of the real estate business, I think a lot of owners are going up to hold off spending any money until this election mess is fizzled. Could be the same with you, Rob. Well, I do commercial real estate mostly, not too much residential. But commercial real estate's really taking a hit right now with this COVID because people are all working from home, and a lot of businesses have decided to make that permanent, like just permanently work from home. We don't need this office space anymore. So there's a lot of office space opening up, which is, yeah, not good. And Casper, you're out taking some pictures of ravens. Cool. Those are tough because they're usually all black, and you have to kind of add some exposure comp so you can capture the detail of the bird, but then you kind of risk blowing out the sky if it's a nice day out, which you need if you have a slow telephoto lens. So ravens are probably one of the most challenging birds to get pictures of. of all the birds out there, you know, blackbirds in general. And can everyone here picture Rob in a 707 Hellcat, 707 horsepower? I would be dead. That's a car I would definitely die in. And Clifford says, I got a 2015 Mustang convertible on Carvana for 23, 4-cylinder, but 310 go fun. Yes. Yep. Convertibles, you know, the Mustang convertible was on my short list for a very, very short time. But I just decided I'm not going to buy domestic or German cars anymore. I've just had too many problems in the past. So it's Japanese for me from now on. I mean, old vintage cars, I don't care what, you know, manufacturer it is, but brand new with warranty, I'm sticking Japanese from now on. And Rick says, take your Jeep V8 for a fun long trip and you'll have a great opportunity to shoot all the fuel stations you visit. Oh my God, I know that thing is like 15 miles to the gallon. That's just insane. So it's got like a 20-gallon tank and I can only go about like, man, if I'm lucky, I'll get 400 miles out of it. But usually about 350, about 350 miles. Thankfully, right now, gas is pretty cheap, historically speaking, like $2 a gallon. But wow, yeah, that thing is a gas guzzler. I mean, when I first got it a few years back, man, I probably spent, oh, I mean, it's pretty simple math. If I, let's see, I put, say, 25,000 miles on it, divided by, let's say 16. Let's be generous. Now, 15 is more realistic. That's 1,600 gallons times, let's say, 2.25 per gallon on average. I've spent, you know, almost $4,000 in gas, and I feel like I hardly drive it. Crazy. Clifford says, I hear you. My other car is a Sienna. Yeah, minivan is not a bad choice, right? I mean, minivans, if I could find a four-wheel drive minivan that didn't cost an arm and a leg, that would be almost my perfect car. Because, you know, I used to love to go camping. And sometimes, you know, a tent ain't going to cut it if it's cold and raining. So I would sleep in the back of the Jeep. It's a Grand Cherokee, so it has room in the back for me to lay down. But the space is a little bit limited, right? So a van would be so much better. Kind of like, what's his name? Mark Denny, I think, is his name. He bought a big van and he's converting it so he can go driving around. Oh, did I miss a message from Leon? I'm sorry. Let me look for that. Because Bob is telling Leon to look for oh, I'm sorry, Leon. I did miss it. robtrek, will it be okay to use Sugru glue on the loose thumb rest grip? I believe it's a common problem. Yeah. The Sugru, you have to take off the existing thumb grip and then mold the Sugru on like it's like a clay. You mold it into a new grip. Where's my Pen F? That's what I did on my Pen F. Let me see if I can get the light to hit it right. But that's Sugru. And I made it thicker so that it's actually more substantial grip on it now. And it feels rubbery, right? So it gives you a good grip. So once I formed the thumb shape onto the clay, the Sugru, I took the edge of my belt, which is fabric, and put dents in it that give it a little more texture. That I doubt you're going to be able to see in the video. But there's a little bit of texture on the thumb grip itself. And then and it's great. So you just take off the old thumb grip. Yeah, because mine, on my pen, if it came off, and then on my EM5 Mark III, it was getting loose. So I sent it in for warranty for something else, but I included that in the warranty to fix that, and they fixed it. It seems solid now, but you know, it's going to come off again. And when it does, I'm going to just go the Sugru route. Oh yeah, Randy, you have a Marauder. A Marauder, I'm sorry. Nice, nice car. The 2004 Marauder, yeah. That is a sweet ride. And Nature says the jackdaws are a similar bird to ravens, but smaller and relatively easy to shoot on the ground, slightly more color than the jackdaws. Okay, never heard of a jackdaws. And he says, I found turkeys that have all wings out hard to focus for some reason. I don't know, I've never taken pictures of turkeys. And Randy says, if I drive responsibly, my Marauder can get 600 miles. It has an effing huge tank. Never. I'll never get, man, 600 miles? I think if I was going downhill for 600 miles, maybe. And Nature says, my smart coupe two-seater sports car has a 700cc engine. God, that's tiny. Fast and nippy to drive and no problem with fuel consumption. Yeah. I mean, I average about 36 miles to the gallon on my Mazda, which is really good, but it ain't a hybrid, and it's not a smart coupe. And then check out the vestibule teardrop camper. It's unbelievable what they stuffed in it. Even, yeah, I've looked at the teardrop campers. I thought about getting one of those, uh, but I'm not hardcore camper. You know, like I would have to be going out all the time camping to spend, you know, 6,000 or 8,000 for one of those. 10,000 and some. I mean, they cost like as much as a car. I suppose there's used ones I could probably find for less, but I did think about it though. And I watched a lot of DIY where people made their own teardrop campers. That was kind of cool. Oh yeah, we're gonna have Thanksgiving this coming week, so I probably won't have a Thursday live stream. I'll either do Wednesday or Friday on the live stream. Depends on the weather. I'll have to look at the weather this week. And Valdez says, Toyota Prius, 50 to 60, yes. Yeah, my mom has a Prius, and she gets, like, that kind of mileage. Yeah, Scott, if I can't find an all-wheel drive minivan, go for a front-wheel drive. Yeah, they're all pretty much front-wheel drive, the minivans. Um, you know, maybe a conversion minivan, I don't know. You know, if I can't get a four-wheel drive, I'm just going to just keep my Jeep, you know. I just put 4 new tires on it. Not brand new. I found a shop that puts used tires on. So I got 4 tires put on for like, what did I end up paying? I think less than $300 for 4 tires. I got 5 tires, so about a little over 300 for all 5 because I changed the spare too. Your 2004 smart car is a collector's car now, really? And then Rick Bear says, that's the answer. Tow a 500-gallon fuel browser behind your Jeep. Yeah. Yeah, I looked at options for attaching fuel tanks to the exterior of the Jeep. You know, that if I did run low, I could refill. You know, fuel containers, not, you know, tanks, but containers, fuel containers on the exterior of the Jeep. They do sell those. Uh, I thought about it because, man, when you start to get low, if that needle goes low on the Jeep, man, and I'm out in the mountains, that's trouble. That is hardcore, man. I'm sweating bullets. If I get down to a quarter tank in that Jeep, I start sweating because it goes from a quarter tank to empty like this, right? So I try to never let it get below a quarter tank, especially if I'm going to take a long trip. Anytime I start to get near a half tank on a long trip, I refill uh, because it could be a while before I see another gas station, you know, out on the open road. Um, that's the only reason I'm a little anxious sometimes when I take that thing out on long trips. I should take it out today after the stream today. And better to rent a monster bus, maybe. And Randy says, I got a 2018 Ford Escort because it had four-wheel drive, but it's low on power. Also should get gone bigger so I could sleep in it. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I got the Grand Cherokee, right? Well, I don't know if Walter's still here, but Walter Rowe, buddy of mine, sold it to me, his old one, because he bought a new one. So he sold me his old one for next to nothing. I mean, dirt cheap. So that's why I got it. And, you know, God, I love that thing. I love that Jeep. And Valdez is asking, Rob, what do you think? 849 for an EM12 or EM53? I'm going to assume you have an EM10 Mark II right now. If that's the case, I would get the EM1 Mark II. Definitely. Because it has a lot more professional features on it, you know? I mean, dual card slot, obviously, but you also do tethering. You can save your custom settings. It has, what else? I had a whole video on comparing the EM1 Mark II and the EM5 Mark III. Just watch that again before you make a final decision. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to, you know, size, right? Do you like a smaller, more compact body, or do you want something a little larger with a grip? And I think if you already have an Olympus OMD, the EM10 or the EM5 Mark II, you know, if you have a Mark II right now, the EM1 Mark II is probably your next best step. And Marcia, oh, you're going to Meadowlark. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really nice place. You've probably been there before. Marcia used to live in this area before she went to Florida. Scott says, have you ever noticed you can go further when you have no brakes than you can when you have no gas? uh, Randy says, although that little Escort has gone to some crazy places that two-wheel drive could not. I know four-wheel drive makes a difference. I've gotten stuck in my Beetle when I used to drive it before I got my Mazda. I got stuck in the mud with my Beetle. And I had to take the floor mats out of my car and put them under there to try and get some traction. And even then, it took me a few tries to get it out of the mud. So that's what kind of motivated me to get a four-wheel drive. And John Yutze says, mentioned earlier that the EM10-4 is on sale at B&H for $549 body, $599 with kit lens. Yeah, that's a good deal. And yes, the Murata is a classic. Yeah, hang on to that thing and then, you know, leave it in your will to someone that deserves it, I guess. But don't let go of that. Oh, DeMorgan says I'm left-eyed and need a center EVF. Okay. I guess that was from another conversation I missed. Back in the day, I assume had a VW78 Westfilla camper. Yeah, nice. Went everywhere with that and my dog. I know. I'm keeping the Marauder for medical expenses if needed. Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that, right? And Casper says, I just posted the Ravens on the forum under 100 to 400. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to that. I mean, I've gotten pictures of Ravens when they, you know, where the birds are kind of friendly to humans or vice versa. They'll land on a bench right next to you and you know, they're comfortable around people. So close up, I gotten some close-ups of ravens, but usually the ravens are coming in flocks of like 1,000 birds at a time. It's crazy. I'll have to make an intro for my live stream where there was like a bazillion ravens in my backyard one day, and they all took off at the same time. And I did capture some of that. I was a little bit slow on the gun there, but I did capture some video footage of that. Yeah, Randy, Casper's had that for a long time. He's been posting pictures of moths and mushrooms and all kinds of things from that 100 to 400 on my forum. So if anybody's interested in seeing like images from that lens, almost straight out of camera, you know, Casper's been posting them on my forum. Oh yeah, I'd love to see the astrophoto, Casper. That would be really cool. Oh, and you got Ron Snyder says he got the 12 to 45. Balances nicely on the Pen F. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice lens. I was really tempted to get it, but I have the 12 to 40 Pro already, so I'd have to trade that in and get that one. I don't need both, right? So I just decided the 12 to 40 is good enough. But if I were to do it again, I don't know. I bought that lens mostly for video work, so I do need the 2.8. But I'm using, like right now I'm using, excuse me, the 25 millimeter f1.8 for the stream. And so I don't even need the 12 to 40 so much anymore. I thought I was going to need it more for like event videos and things, but that just didn't pan out. A group of ravens is called unkindness. Oh, Ron, so yeah, see, so you sold the 12 to 40, right? You don't need both, right? So that's what I was thinking. If I got the 12 to 45, I wouldn't need the 12 to 40. But yeah, that, you know, handling is a big deal when it comes to camera choices. And oh, that reminds me, Roman, I don't know, Roman, if you're still here, you asked me if I bought any lenses for my S5. No, I haven't bought anything. The kit, here it is. This S5, the kit lens that comes with it, the 20 to 60, is perfect for my needs because I'm going to be using this for video, and I need the 20 millimeter wide. Between 20 and 24 is perfect for video work that I'm doing in real estate. It's wide, and I'll be on a gimbal. So I really don't need another lens. I did buy a lens adapter though, Nikon to Leica L mount adapter, so I can mount my vintage Nikon full frame glass to it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I have plenty of these, right, laying around. I have a 35, a 50, this is a 105, I have the 135, I have the 200. And then I got my Nikon G glass, which is a 20 millimeter, 70 to 200, you know, the usual kits, right, that you collect. I need to sell all my G glass I wanted to sell it to Walter because he's a Nikon shooter, but he switched over to the Z mount Nikon, so he doesn't want any of my Nikon glass anymore. Because I was going to sell it to him for the trade-in value, which is like nothing. Like I have a 150 to 600 Nikon mount, you know, $400 if anybody wants it. I think that's what KEH was offering me, $400. I have the 20mm f1.8, the 70 to 200, the 85 f1.4. I mean, I have great lenses for that camera. I just don't use that system anymore. And just like this, I'm going to try not to make the same mistake I did with Nikon and buy a bunch of lenses and never use them. This camera, the kit lens that came with it, and this kit lens is sharp. I mean, like Olympus Pro glass sharp. I've been doing some testing with it this week. I mean, I don't plan to use this for photography, but if you wanted to use this for photography, this 20 to 60 kit lens is really sharp, and it takes great pictures. You know, really dynamic range, low light, all the things that full frame, all the benefits of full frame. You know, this is a great camera. Even the face detect is really good. It's right up there with the M1 Mark III. So I have all the testing done and I have some footage. So I'm ready to make a video. I'm going to compare this camera against the M1 Mark III. You know, so I'll do a comparison video. You know, just because they're about the same price point, right? This is $2,300. The M1 Mark III with a 12 to 40 Pro lens is like $2,000 right now. So they're comparably priced. But yeah, Roman, I haven't bought, I don't plan on buying any other lenses for it. I looked at some that were vaguely interesting, some of the smaller, lighter lenses, but I'm going to wait. If they come out with a very small, light 35mm f1.8 or something, I might buy that for it. Because that would be a lot easier to carry around than this, you know, this honkin' zoom lens. But you know, I have no reason to take this out for photography. I much prefer my EM5 Mark III. You know, just a little tiny camera, right? And it takes great pictures and has more features. Is the lens made in Japan? Oh, that's a good question. Let me see. Let me see if it says. I have to look. Nothing on the barrel. And then on the front, nothing on the front that says. So let me check the mount. The mount says, oh, it says made in China. So this 20 to 60 is made in China. All right, I fell behind again on the comments here. Dave says, you'll have to pry my 12 to 40 out of my cold dead hands. It is a great lens. Randy says, I don't need fast lenses because I'm a day shooter. Yes. And a 64. What is 64? I don't remember what that was about. And buy my camera Pentax. I bought the Pentax online. I don't know. Unless you're talking about a Pentax you bought. Xbox Club of School. Pentax, please. I don't want to buy any more Pentaxes. I have a Pentax. This is a great camera too, actually. This is my Pentax S10. Oh, Pentax K10. Yeah, the Pentax K10. God, I really want to go out and shoot. And Wu-Dang says, my favorite photo setup would be the Sigma FP with a nice pancake, possibly the smallest full-frame setup. For photos, I definitely prefer full frame for wide shots. Yep. Yeah, I mean, full frame, you know, it takes nice pictures, you know, I mean, but so does my Micro Four Thirds. I would just rather, I mean, even the Sigma FP, that's very niche, right? If you're talking about the Sigma FP with just one lens, yeah, it's going to be tiny. That would be pretty cool to kind of carry around. But you might as well get the Sony, Sony has a little compact, right? Camera with a fixed lens that's full frame. That might be better choice than the Sigma, but I don't know. But the Sigma FP does video too, right? So supposedly. Um, and Lauren was asking about the lens. Yeah, definitely the Panasonic lens, Lauren, that one was made in China. And Fred Miranda is a good place to sell camera gear. eBay cost me $25 to sell me my. Yeah, eBay is going to take 10% off with credit card fees and everything. 10 to 15% in fees when you sell anything on eBay. It's no joke. And zoom lenses are for video work, makes it easier. Yes. Oh, good. I can't wait to look at your Orion Nebula, man. I really want to get an Astro. Oh my God, no. Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much. Gas money. Awesome. I will definitely go and shoot. $5 will get me about 2 gallons, give or take. So depending which car I take, I can go 30 miles, which is nothing. In this area, 30 miles doesn't get you anywhere. Or I can go in my Mazda, that'll get me about 70 miles. Now we're talking. And Mike Hammond asking, do you print? I'm thinking of a Canon Pro 1000 or Epson P800. Yes, my experience with printing is you can get very good results at home. What happened to me, though, is I got really excited, printed a few things when I first got the printer, and then once I printed a few of my favorite prints, I was done. And then the ink dried up and it's never worked again. I keep getting streaks. I've tried cleaning the print heads to no end. So the inkjets, you have to use them regularly. And then refilling ink is not cheap either, right? Because you want to use the original manufacturer ink so you know that the colors are exactly right and you can use the right profiles. See, if you buy a printer, you know, buy the Canon, like if you buy a Canon printer, buy Canon paper, and then buy Canon ink. And then everything's calibrated for you automatically, right? All those color calibrations are done at the factory. So you can print and get very good colors without, you know, going crazy trying to color match everything. Same thing with Epson. You buy an Epson printer, you buy Epson paper, and then they'll have the paper profiles, the ink, you know, and then the ink is, you buy the original ink. So the paper profiles will be in the calibration. And you'll get great results. But my problem was I didn't print very often, so now the printer's useless to me, even though I've tried to clean the print heads. But I have the Epson XP800. I don't know how similar that is to the P800. That printer's actually worked well for me, but it's only 8x10, right? It only prints up to regular, you know, photocopy size. That's been working good, and I print mostly 4x6, so I can put in my little, you know, photo albums. But I don't print large anymore. I'm just going to take those into a shop to get done. You know, the local camera store, or MPix, MPix. I hear really good things about MPix. does a great job. If you're here in the US, I don't know where they are internationally, how they work, but if they do it all. But here in the US, MPix is excellent for printing also. So I think that's a better way to go, honestly, than buying a printer. Is just maybe buy a small printer for 4x6s and stuff. You can do that at home all day long if you want. But larger prints I would do out. I would send out. The Instax printer, oh my God, those are fun. I bought a little Canon Click or something, I forget what it's called. I take those, like I'm gonna use it at Thanksgiving. I'm gonna take some pictures with my cell phone and just print them on the little Click printer, I forget what it's called. It's just for fun, you know? And they come with little stickers on the back so I can stick them to my refrigerator. And I can print from my camera too, right? I just have to load them onto my phone first. But the quality of print is so bad, you know, it's almost pointless to go through that extra step of taking a picture with your camera, then transferring it to your phone, then printing to the printer. I just take it with my phone and print to that printer. Oh, hey, Dave. I thought it does it automatically. If you were going to send a super chat, I think, you know, it does it automatic, but don't worry about it. I appreciate the thought, though. um, quick dry ink. Please buy another one when it's dry. I know, right? With dang those printers, man, that the ink will get you. And Lauren says Epson ink will do that, but other brands you can go longer times between use. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe if this, I've had this Epson for about, I don't know, 5 years at least 5 years I've had this Epson. And it's been working fine, but I print more often on that. If you print something every week on your printer, it'll never dry out. But the larger printer I got that prints 13-inch, now I got like a couple hundred sheets of like 13-inch paper. You know, it's about this big. That I don't know what I'm going to do with now unless I buy another large format printer, which I've been thinking about, because you can buy the printer cheap, right? A couple $100, but the problem is you got to use it. Maybe I'll get a Canon this time, but I bought Epson paper. So I'll just have to live with the fact that maybe the color might be slightly off because I bought Epson paper. Oh, David Crooks uses CVS or Walgreens. That's cool. And it's probably pretty affordable, right? Printing locally. Nature says you gave up printing a few years ago. My expensive A3 had several cartridges, cost a fortune. Everyone wanted me to spend photos electronically, put my photos in video clips now. Yeah. And MD Zuhair says, "Hi Rob, thanks to you, sir. Your video guide and tips helped me a lot to understand my Olympus cameras and OMD from Malaysia." Oh, you're welcome. You should check out Robin Wong if you're in the area. He lives in Malaysia, and he has a great YouTube channel for Olympus too, which I'm sure you're aware of already. But if not, check out Robin Wong. And Bob says, my only inkjet and Epson printer dried up on me too. Didn't realize it needed turning on regularly to stop it drying out. Yeah. Yeah. Print once a week if you have an inkjet printer. I think that's a safe thing to do regardless of brand. Okay, Rick, take care of Magrat as always. You know, I think the Bible says something like, a man who takes care of his animals is a righteous man. Man or woman, I should say. And always like Adam Farr says, always like the idea of getting one of those Canon printers to they practically give away. By the time you buy everything, you're better off sending it out. Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, like I said, I think if you print regularly on your own, then maybe it might make sense because you get that sense of, you get that immediate gratification uh, and it's part of the process of photography, right? Printing your work, you know, so there's some satisfaction from that too, and seeing it in print. You know, I think that total experience is worth it. But I only do it in 4x6. You know, 4x6 I do print time to time, not every day, but you know, every couple of weeks I'll print some 4x6s out. And you know, it's just part of what makes photography fun for me is printing. But I'm debating if I should get a large format printer so I can at least use the paper I bought. Because I only used about maybe a dozen sheets of large format paper, and now I don't have anything to print with it. About twice a month, never a problem on the P800. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? If you're printing fairly regularly, you'll be okay. Hoping for a zinc style portable printer for Christmas. Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. The little zinc printers. Yep, definitely. And De Morgan says, I like finer works to print as they can help match each print to the best paper. Oh, okay. And Adam Farr, unless you just want to have fun with it and have a use case, art prints holiday cards. Okay. And let's see. Wudang says, resell your printer on eBay and get an agency. In terms of actual use, this might be cheaper for you unless you print every week. Also, a pro agency can get very good prints with art paper. Oh, the printers aren't worth anything, I don't think. I think I only paid like 150 bucks for my wide format inkjet printer. And now it's all dried up. Who's going to buy that? And the shipping is ridiculous. Printers are just throwaway machines, really. And Wudang says white wall prints. Okay. And Mike Ham says, I will buy your paper. I have an Epson now that will do 13 by 19. I'm looking to move up to 17 by 22. Wow. You don't need to buy my paper. I'm still thinking about getting another wide format. And it's cheaper for you to just go to Amazon and buy it rather than me sending it out to you. Because the postage is just ridiculous. And Walter says, I have the Epson SCP-800 printer too. I upgraded it from the Epson 2200 so I get a larger print. I have this amazing Moab paper at 25 by 17 so I can print 24 by 16. Wow. But you must do some maintenance on that printer then, right? To keep it from drying out. And Spartacus says, with my EM13, whenever I use the eye detection, I press the focus button to take a picture. I never actually focuses on the white box eye. What am I doing wrong? I can't answer that. It should work. I really haven't had any issues with it focusing. I put this on, it's face detect. Let me put on eye detect. Let's see. I might have... Man, spot on. I mean, I'm just looking. I'm just looking. It nailed it. I wish I could give you... Just make sure you have it on eye detect, right? Let me see if this will... See, there's the eye. So in the menu, you can see where I have the little smiley face with the letter I. So it's going to focus on the closest eye. And see? And then if I push play, whoops. Yeah, spot on. That's all you should have to do. It should work. So I don't have any other suggestions. It's a fully automated thing. Oh, I got 10 minutes to my next stream. I need to wrap up here soon. Well, I just print a few times a year and rarely have to clean heads. Wow, that's good. Peter says, quick question, is there a way to remotely control Olympus EM10 while streaming via an HDMI interface? Seems Wi-Fi does not work in this mode. If it's the EM10 Mark II, no. Once you're hooked up, I'm not sure what you're trying to do though. Are you trying to like stop and start recording? Because then you can use a wireless remote to start and stop recording or to take a picture. I think that'll work even if you're in HDMI mode, but I don't think you can do much else, like control aperture and all that, because it doesn't have any tethering ability built in like the other cameras. But I've never tried to tether a camera and do HDMI out at the same time, like on an EM1 Mark II that does tethering. But it should work. But you don't need to, really. If you're tethering anyway, you wouldn't need an HDMI out because then you'll see what's on the screen. So yeah, that's a very niche use case. I can't think of any solution other than using a wireless remote. That should work. I should check my settings because I do have the smiley eye on. Yeah, mine works. Now, keep in mind though, face detect starts to fail. If it's the EM1 Mark III, yeah, you said it was the Mark III. Face detect will start to fail when the person's face is only about 10% of the frame, give or take. Sometimes it gets it, sometimes it doesn't. So the closer you get to that 10% of frame, the face detect is going to start to fail when you start approaching that. It's very good when you're like at about 20-30% of frame or closer. But once you kind of get past that 20% and you get closer to 10%, it fails, basically. It won't be able to detect the face. Even though you see the little white box on the camera, it's not gonna nail focus very often. The hit rate is less than 50-50 when the person's face is less than 10% of the frame. So maybe that's the issue. But if you're talking about a standard portrait shot, you should never have an issue. Oh, okay, John. Well, we'll catch you later. David says there's zoom bombs. And Joey's asking, is there a lens that works like the 40-150 f2.8 that is smaller? I have the 14-150 kit lens, but not the best images. Look at the Panasonic 35-100. It's an f2.8. That's your next option. And then from there, Panasonic has, and Olympus, the 100-400. But yeah, I think the Panasonic 35-100 is the closest thing, and it's small. You know, it's smaller than the 40-150, significantly smaller. And Peter says, I'm trying to focus, which somehow doesn't work as expected. Don't know why. By the way, seems to me HDMI is bi-directional and should allow for some sort of remote control access on the camera. I don't think they have the firmware for that, though. There's some start-stop, like when playback on HDMI, you can skip images and things. But for controlling the camera itself, yeah, I don't think Olympus put that software in there. The only other thing is, Peter, on the EM10 Mark II, there's a setting. I forget what it's called exactly. It's called, there's a way to set the camera to be in constant focus mode, right? Where it's constantly focusing. I can't remember the name of the setting, though. God, my EM10, I don't think the PL8 even has it. Let me check. Of course, I got a dummy lens on here, but let me see. All right, let me put my mic. Yeah, the setting you need, it's a different setting. Oh yeah, here it is. Let's see if it'll show up. Hold on. I know there's no card, so what? Why do you need a card? Let me put a card in. All right, so menu. Oh, I'm in playback mode. Hold on, I gotta change something else. Where's my HDMI setting? Display, sorry. Display. Well, I'm running out of time, but I'll just tell you where it is. Go into the AF/MF menu, which is menu A, right? And the second line is full-time AF. You need to turn that on. I don't know if you can see that or not. Full-time AF. I don't know why I can't get the I need to get to the other display, HDMI. Oh, it's the first line, you dummy. All right, here we go. HDMI control off. Okay, now I should be able to show you. So, menu, AF/MF, full-time AF right there. Turn that on. And then also under display, Make sure HDMI control is also turned off. See if that works, if you haven't tried that. All right, I have to go. Don't open the car door, it'll expose all the pictures. Yeah. All right, everyone, I'm sorry. I have to go to my next stream for photo editing. So you can join us there. It's always a lot of fun as well, where we edit your photos live, and you can also edit mine. But in any case, it was great seeing everyone again. I really appreciate your time and the super chats and the coffees and everything you guys have gotten me. And especially, I really appreciate you spending your time with me this morning. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys back on Tuesday.